All right, 6.
Jolly good job.
So 6. And you're right.
Fix the minutes. So we are meeting actually at the library for a change. Meeting of Public Access Cable Committee. We are in hybrid mode, which means votes will be taken by roll call. We have a quorum present, but being a hybrid meeting, I will go around. Mr. Lincoln, are you actually here?
Yes, a question. When I had,
Ready before I do the roll call?
yes, before I ran the meeting, last meeting, I had no notes or anything as to what to say by the beginning.
Oh, I just make it up as I go.
Okay, so can I tell jokes and things like that?
Sure, feel free.
I'm here.
And here's Faith.
And we hear rumors that Faith is approaching. And Mr. Archambault, is that right?
Yes, I am here.
Mr. Serapis.
I am here virtually.
Yep, I have that.
And Faith, we're doing roll call. We just
Here.
started the meeting, so if you're here,
I'm putting a smiley face on that.
and I'm here as well, and Jo is here in her capacity as manager.
Could you sit next to Steve? Steve, can you move yourself?
You can move. Move down a little bit more. It makes it easier for you.
Okay, you have the agenda in front of you, I trust. Are there any public comments? Hearing none, are there any committee comments? Hearing none, are there any communications?
I don't always know what the appropriate time is for questions. If that would
Depends on
be,
what the question is.
it's actually about a policy, or if there is a policy of the cable channel. I just would like to know if there is a policy about the use of drones for getting video footage of any events that are being taped by the cable studio.
Kayla mentioned that to me today,
Mhm.
that she asked you that, and I prefer those questions to go through me. But
Okay.
just in general, can I take this one?
Yeah.
Okay,
Well, you can, but it's.
So Paul, this would come under committee comments,
all right.
Okay, so we'll back up.
but go ahead, finish it up.
So we're backing up to committee comments, Paul.
Yep.
So I had a question about if there is a policy around the use of drones for any kind of production being done by public access television.
Well, I can tell you where we were a while back. Because
Mhm.
when I first joined the committee, one thing I wanted to bring in was a drone. As I'm
Mhm.
sure Faith will remember, she's been giving me a hard time about it ever since. Joe and I have talked to different public access groups. And there are a couple of issues that have come up, which means we haven't pursued it. So we don't have a policy, but as a heads up, if you're flying a drone on our behalf, we have issues with insurance, because it would be on our behalf and we are not insured to do such a thing. And it's apparently very difficult and very expensive to get insurance. We were looking at and talking to people about trying to do it over a football field. And the insurance gets even worse if you fly over people. If you're doing houses, not quite as bad, apparently. So we don't have one. On the other hand, if you as a citizen of Marlborough, no, hang on, that's where I used to be, Lunenburg. It's been a while. I've been here 9 years.
Wow.
If you made a video of your choosing and brought it to Joe and said, not as a member of the committee, but as a citizen, that you've made this video, you think it's of value to the town, can we put it on the cable system? And none of that was done at Joe's direction. That we believe is allowable.
Well, it seems to me that we have used drone footage. Remember when we did our community news? I thought in the beginning we had like a drone flying around Lunenburg and then we put that to music.
Yeah, that was before we had the policy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I don't know what the policy is. You
Well,
should
I
be the
mean,
one to answer.
Well, Steve just reviewed it in a nutshell, but the other side of that is we don't want videographers to use their own equipment when they're doing assignments on our behalf. So if you have a drone, it's your own equipment, then that's not okay.
Okay.
But as Steve said, if someone is,
But that drone footage that you used, was that made at your request or your direction?
it was volunteered to us.
Yeah,
That's the difference that I'm
Yeah.
talking about.
Right,
yeah. It was good
yeah,
too.
Oh,
yeah,
I love drone footage.
yeah.
So in this
So,
situation, there was a request made of me from Kayla, one of the videographers, and another drone operator. And I understand now, I assume maybe it was around liability, so I understand now why Joe said no. But because I'm going to be at this event for the Lunenburg Ledger and using my drone as myself, and using it to photograph the parade, would Joe be able to would I be able to give footage from the drone that I did myself to her to use for her production? Or is that crossing the line?
That's where we run into a problem. Did you say Kayla would be with you?
No, I would, Kayla
Oh,
had
it's-
asked, and then Joe said, no, we don't want to do that.
So Joe didn't ask you to video the parade.
So Joe, no, so now I am offering to provide whatever video footage I might get on that day for Joe to use in her program, but it's
I
coming
have
from
a-
me.
I have a problem with that, unless I'm just hearing a problem that's not real. But it seems to me that if our station manager says no to a videographer or anyone else who works at the station, they should not be coming to board members to try to get around. That's like if mommy says no, go to daddy.
No, actually, Faith, that's not what she was
That's
doing.
not what happened.
No,
She just
it's,
thought.
yeah. she just
having a
asked me as a
girl,
drone operator, I don't even think Kayla knows I'm on the board. So
I don't think she, no, I
Yeah.
don't think she knows that.
Okay, well,
Yeah.
just as long as we make it known that we're
Yeah,
here to make general policies, but not, but we back up our station manager and she has complete authority over what's done and isn't done on programming.
I agree, and I am, I completely prepared to yield, and we can even end the conversation, and I can just talk to Joe about it later on. And-
Okay,
And
that
it's up to
sounds
her,
good.
it's up to her to just say, no, I don't want your footage, I can't use it. So, because I'm gonna be there regardless, and at this point, I'm there on my own, nothing to do with Pacc at all on that day, so. And
But you
and
are working for another organization that has the rights to those, right? The Ledger, you said?
no, I mean, I'm doing it on my own. So, I mean, the Ledger, I'm just gonna give her photographs, and then if I take some video, that's my video to do what I want with it.
Okay,
So she doesn't have the rights to anything, except the photographs I give her, yeah.
okay,
So, it's not really a big deal. I really just wanted some clarification, because it was the first I'd heard about it. And, I'm not trying to rock the boat or challenge anything. I just need to understand a little bit more from my own purposes as a
Okay.
producer, as an independent producer.
Okay, we're all as clear as we're going to get.
Yes, sir.
I have to say again, where's that policy written? Why don't
We
I
don't have
it?
it as a written
We need
policy.
to have our policy.
We do.
And we started doing that
Right.
and stopped, but I didn't know the answer
Right.
to that. Someone asked me.
So could we put it on a future agenda to circle back and work on a written policy as to the usage of privately owned equipment, et cetera?
We could do that, except, yeah, we could do that, but I would request that we treat the drone issue separately because of the consequences of both licensing and insurance.
Mm-hmm.
So we could have two different ones, neither, I don't believe we do have a policy. It's just as an employee, they can't use their own equipment.
Mhm.
So it's not a policy.
That's true.
Okay, yes, sir.
So Paul, I would ask you if you would like something on the future agenda, send me what you would like to include on the future agenda and I'll put it on.
Okay, in this conversation, sort of addressing what Pete was talking about, the need for some written policy. What is the process for that? I want to volunteer myself to help with that unless there's a conflict there. So that we can start working on it.
So I'm gonna do a point of order here. I know, this is
Need
gonna
it.
be a point of order. So Paul, your question began as a relatively small question, not a big deal. We're now talking about policy and we're talking about recommendations, creating a committee, et cetera, et cetera. That really needs to be published on an agenda so the public
Okay.
knows we are going to discuss it.
All right,
So I think what you need to do is it needs to be put on hold. Write what you'd like to put on the future agenda, and it can be as simple as like to discuss the drone policy and policy of using private equipment, something like that.
okay,
And then we can talk about it. And then as chair, you can say, or you can say, let's create a committee to create a draft. And then that, because we're now getting into that area where the public doesn't know we're discussing this. And
okay,
that could be a
Yep.
conflict.
good. And again, please, understand that I'm all new to this, so
Oh, yeah.
I appreciate the point of order and we can
Well,
move
you
on.
had asked where it should come up and we're now
Yeah.
past I have a comment, and it's
Yeah.
more of a thing. Okay, sorry.
Okay,
I'll be quiet
good.
now, Steve.
No, please don't, because I hate all the politics and formalities of meetings, and I really appreciate you putting
You're
your hand
welcome.
up and saying, Steve, you're screwing up.
It's just, no, it's not you screwing up, but it's
No.
if someone decides to call us on it, then it's a whole can of worms.
Yeah.
You know,
So please
Yep,
keep
good.
us
Well,
in line.
you know what I mean?
You
We
have
just kind of-
experience
Yeah.
on boards and things like that.
Keep us in line.
And we have someone
right.
coming to our door, so we may have someone, I don't know. Oh, Joe, oh,
said the wrong meeting.
All depends what meeting
Hey,
you
Rich.
want.
what meeting are you looking for?
The endowment committee?
This is public access at the moment.
Okay.
This is-
Check with the librarian, though, yeah.
He was the first guest on Talking Baseball. Number one guest.
Who is it?
Rich and Tar.
Oh. Okay, are we in a position where,
Minutes.
are you going to put something on the agenda? or-
Paul is gonna send me
I'm
something,
going
and
to
I'll put
send-
it on the agenda so that he can word it the way he would like to word it.
Yeah.
And I
For
put
the
a
next
note here,
meeting.
future agenda,
Yeah,
something about
Yeah.
policy from Paul.
okay.
Good.
My understanding is any member of the committee can
That's right,
ask for
which
any
is why
agenda item.
I send out
Yeah.
the draft of the agenda. Is there anything anyone wants to add?
Right,
And if no one answers me, I just send it as is.
proceed.
You do keep us in line, thank you.
Yes,
So, actually, on that note, Steve, do I wait until you send it or do
No,
I?
send it sooner than later.
And then and this will be an email, just again, to play by the rules. This is just
Yeah,
an email
just to
from
me. You
me.
can't, don't send
to
it to
you.
everybody.
Oh, no, don't do
Okay.
that.
Yeah.
Good, I got it.
I mean, you can wait till I ask for it, but if you do it now, then it's there. And what I'll do is
Right.
I'll type up an agenda and
Okay.
it'll be a draft agenda.
And you'll
anyway.
have the minutes here by midnight.
Mhm.
I
Well,
know.
you won't. We want to do it tomorrow.
But he usually does, then we all
No.
lose them.
Monday night football, so you can do
But
that.
at least you're smart enough to send him out again with the meeting. notice, the agenda.
I,
That's really good. Thank you.
you're welcome.
Okay, no communications I heard. Could we please review and, if appropriate, approve the meeting minutes?
I move we. Motion, I make a motion, you approve the minutes as,
I second.
Any further discussion? Hearing none. By roll call, Mr. Lincoln,
aye,
Mr. Rauschen,
Aye.
Paul,
I,
Faith,
Aye.
and actually I'm going to abstain because I wasn't there. There's no point.
oh,
me
actually,
approving the minutes.
I also need to
you can't
abstain.
do the minutes anyway. You
I
weren't
read the
there.
minutes
That's what I'm just saying. I abstain because I wasn't there.
and I also
Good job.
abstained, so change that to an abstention.
Oh, that's right.
It's two, too.
I'm just trying to keep the meeting. Oh, sorry, that's your
That's
job.
good,
Keep the meeting.
I like you. I like you.
Yeah.
The manager's report.
Oh, boy.
Okay,
Oh, other copies?
I actually forgot my sheet with
Oh, I have to write that.
so I had it. Someone take a picture of it and text it to me.
Oh,
So, the MacBooks have been ordered and received. I'm supposed to be working with the, IT consultant about getting an Apple business account for municipal government.
Which would cover maintenance.
Final cut, no, we got Apple Care with each
Okay,
system and a crash insurance or what have you. So that's taken care of. But this is so we can buy the Final Cut software,
at a better price.
not at a better price without taxes. So yes, it ends up
Okay.
being at a better price.
Gotcha.
It's not going to be a discounted price. I still need to order some external drives for the MacBooks. But I did order 2 wireless transmitter receivers for use at the town meeting. So we can have the voting system as an input to our AV matrix, and the presentation from Heather wirelessly transmitted to another input on the AV matrix.
and that's on the last page of this.
Yes. I'm interviewing for 2 new videographers. I have 2 interviews tomorrow. We lost a videographer. They resigned recently, so. He was not available a lot, so. That's how that went.
Actually, can I have a question on that?
Sure.
Piece of guy. Apparently they're supposed, now we have them as employees, they're supposed to do an exit interview.
Yes,
Have any others ever done that, or they just faded into
yes.
it?
No,
So they do something, yeah, I just.
they do
was
have
asking.
there is an exit interview process. When I got the resignation, I asked him to contact Julie to have the exit interview.
So she does it,
She does it.
okay, thank you.
I updated the ARPA proposal because we bought the transmitter receivers, so we didn't need those anymore, so I reduced our proposal by $3,000 and got it in by the deadline. We're continuing to cover football. Homecoming is at the end of the month. We had a problem with the AV Matrix audio during the last football game. We didn't get any audio. And we need to figure that out. So before the next game, we'll be testing out the system. We couldn't get any audio.
Can I ask a question about that?
Sure.
So the Matrix, you're doing this as a live cable cast?
The Matrix is a switcher,
Yeah,
camera switcher, yeah.
and it's going out live. So is there any
No.
audio being recorded? Being recorded actually.
Yep, the AV Matrix does record. It
Mhm.
was not streamed out live.
Okay,
Yeah,
so you
yeah.
were able to capture the game with audio and put it out at a later time?
I was able to capture it with no audio.
Oh,
and
with no
then
audio.
One of the cameramen had the game recorded with the audio, so
Okay.
I had to break
Mm.
apart the audio
Mm.
and
Yeah,
match it up.
Yeah.
As it sounds.
Which
Matchup is-
it, all I have to say is it's lucky I know football because it would have been impossible to do if I didn't understand it.
Yeah,
okay.
So, but we don't want that to happen again, so,
Obviously, yeah, plus just to save all that work.
right.
I was just curious about if there was some like, fallback, backup to it, so, thank you, Joe.
Yeah, you're welcome. We had two problems with Castus this month and both were resolved. One has been resolved. I'm not sure about the other one, but one of the problems was that the Castus was creating multiple files during a broadcast. The clock was stopping, and every time the clock stopped, that created a file. Then the clock would start again for another 10 seconds, and that would create a file, and so forth and so on. So I got in touch with Castus and I worked with them, and they believed that it was a RAM problem. There's plenty of space on the server, but he said we were low on RAM. So they installed more RAM into our Castus, and we haven't had the problem.
You mean they came out and installed it?
No, they can do it virtually.
RAM is hardware.
He told me he could do it virtually.
That's not RAM. What he may have done is assigned space on hard drives to behave like RAM.
Maybe,
That he could do virtually, but that's slow.
yeah,
But it would give you more workable space. It's a configuration of the entire computing environment.
okay.
But RAM typically is physical hardware. You can
Oh,
touch it.
okay,
If smoke comes out of it, it stops working. Because that's the magic that actually makes it work, is the smoke.
right, right.
Kept
What about the
inside the
mirrors?
chips.
Well,
Never had the smoke
whatever
out.
he did resolved the problem.
Okay,
We haven't had that issue again. The other issue was uploading files. We were not able to upload files to the Castus.
Was
They
that
would-
a space issue also?
I don't know what the issue was. They said they corrected it and they updated the software for me. So it's been working for me, but Dan said he had problems today, so I have to review that and get back in touch with them. Figure out what's going on with that. Dan Seminator recorded COVID updates with the Neshoba boards of health. And also we recorded the St. Boniface Oktoberfest and the new Whalum Collaborative presentation at the library in September. I met with the personnel committee to review the new production technician job description, and they approved it. I had to fill out a fraud risk Q&A for the town. They're going through an exercise with a consultant on fraud risk.
on what?
Fraud risk,
Fraud risk, okay.
yeah. A lot of it didn't apply to us.
Yeah.
It had a lot to do with, do you take in money?
Money,
Do you,
yeah.
do you,
Oh.
you know,
That's why I thought, we don't even get people asking for tapes that much of
Yeah.
different meetings and stuff.
yeah, so, but there was a number of questions about our budget and how we get the information and how often we review the information and that sort of thing.
Mm.
The air conditioner is still waiting to be installed.
Till the
I
first
would not-
snowfall.
I would not. Telling myself it's a dumb idea.
Maybe in
but-
December.
Yeah, we could get a hot snap there.
But the
But,
building overheats, right? Yeah.
but we haven't tested it out yet, so we need to know if it works properly and that it's okay. That's why I've got to get it installed. And
Oh,
get
yeah.
a cover for it.
If it will get the room cool enough when it's hot outside,
Mhm.
that's gonna be difficult.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm working on that. As far as your packet, right now, our ending balance is 917,740. Have the town financial report attached to that September calendar. Nothing of any huge interest. I don't think. I mentioned the new programs that we have on, it's in the program analysis sheet. Football, Oktoberfest, football, COVID update, New Whalen Cooperative. And then the last couple of sheets are the invoices for our MacBooks. It came to 14,305.53. Yeah,
How many MacBooks was that? 6?
no, 3,
Okay.
yeah. And then an order confirmation for the transmitters and receivers. That's about all I have right now. Oh, one other thing. The school committee wants to do a hybrid meeting. I directed them to IT because of the success with the Ritter building and the DPW. It turns out that they want something different. They want a live stream from the high school. They want to meet with me on Wednesday to talk about it. First of all, they have their meetings the first week of the month and the third week of the month. We always televise the first week at town hall. The third week of the month on Wednesday, we broadcast a Zoom meeting of the Conservation Commission. That's the same night that the school committee meets. So I don't even know if we should be doing it because we can't broadcast them live. That's the Conservation Commission slot.
So put it on educational.
We could do that. Yeah, we could do that.
That's a good answer. Thank you.
That was a good, yeah, that was fantastic. So anyway, they want to meet,
I'm sorry, by the way, if you do that, always put it on educational. Don't flip and flop, you know.
mhm.
The first one's on the government channel, the second one's on education. Just put it on education, leave it there.
And maybe put it on the on the bulletin board that it's gonna be there, just so people know for the first time.
Mhm. Yeah, the only thing is I don't have videographers who can do this. I have
That was
to-
my question. Yeah.
I have to train them because what they're gonna need a MacBook. They're gonna need an encoder, an Ethernet cable. I told them it has to be single camera. And there are no microphones in that room. And they were like, fine. So
What?
I'm meeting with Carol Archambault and Pete Beardmore. Probably Wednesday.
Something's up on your screen.
It's the government.
So how can,
It's
what
not
good is it
impo-
gonna do with no microphones? I'm a little confused about that.
I
There's no
don't
audio?
have, there's no microphone system in the school collaborative room.
So you just use the camera microphone. And whatever it picks up, which is going to be.
They would have to use like a speaker system so that the camera microphone has enough of a signal to pick it up. You know what I mean? They would have to use an outside thing
Mhm.
to pick them up, or
Al,
no, not
do
an
they,
owl.
do they sit
I don't
around?
know if something like this would work.
Yeah,
Depends on how spread out they are,
Yeah,
but they would need an outside. Do you know what I mean?
yeah.
No speaker and
Yeah.
microphones.
So we're gonna talk about the details this
Yep.
week and find out what,
That's my quick guess.
what can be done. I'm not against doing it. I just, it just means that I'm gonna have to send someone out with more than a camera and a tripod, which is fine.
So, one thing you could also perhaps explore with them is the use of students. When I was working down at Cape Cod, a year ago, they had students from the TV classes down there. I don't think they have TV classes in the high school, but they do have a
No.
video class.
No.
They paid the kids, but they trained the kids and they used the kids, and it might be a really nice opportunity for the school committee to consider using kids from the school.
That's a great idea.
Except for one thing,
It's our equipment.
if we use kids and especially if we try paying them, they've got to be employees. Because we changed the rules.
They
So-
can't
But
be,
if they're
I don't know how-
volunteers,
That's why I said if they get paid, if they're volunteers, I think we're all right.
yeah, I
But
think so too.
if we pay them, I don't think we have a vehicle to do that without them being employees. Because of the
Interesting.
pay.
Yeah, we can't. They would have to be volunteers.
But actually, I prefer their volunteers. They're students, for heaven's sake.
Yeah, yeah.
Mm.
So that's
well, I'm
all.
not sure, I'm not sure I agree about the volunteer thing. I understand that, the policy thing. I don't know if there's community service requirement for graduation, but that's something I used to do with students as well, as give them community service hours for, videotaping a concert or whatever, stuff like that. So. Anyways, it's something you can explore, but the legalities and technicalities to be determined later. Considering that you have a staffing issue with having not enough people to be at two different events at the same time.
Well, thanks for your report.
You're welcome.
Okay, can I just mention one thing, which is to do with day-to-day running, so I'm not allowed to. I just checked on what was on the channels. I think this was on Friday. And when was the 1st of October? That was Saturday, right?
Yes.
So it was Saturday. And the first three things that came up were all events taking place on the 23rd of September. or
I talked about that
something.
before.
So you
Was that
Happy to-
Channel 9?
on more than one channel.
Hmm.
I looked at 8 and 9. I don't think I was looking. at
Okay.
8.
I will look into that because they
Because I
said that
thought you
they,
had fixed that.
You
That's
told me
why-
they had a end date when they put it on.
oh yeah,
It's-
she
it's
does,
supposed
but Castus is ignoring it.
It's supposed to dump it at the end date. But
I
obviously.
brought that
these
up
didn't.
3 meetings ago where there were 2 months.
You did, that's why
Yeah.
I'm carefully, diplomatically bringing it up again, that we thought it was fixed.
Well,
Apparently.
and
it's
if you're
not.
having cast issues,
Yeah,
it could be all somewhat related.
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, I will get on that.
Sorry about that. but, you know.
No, that's fine. It's fine.
Joe, just a note for the calendar. This will be the last talk in baseball till January,
Okay,
so it won't be on November, December.
Just because they're not playing.
That's right. And no one cares about baseball in the winter.
I do. I get all excited when the truck
That's
goes
January. We'll be back in January.
January, okay, when the truck goes down to Florida. I
See
wish
you
I
went to-
were on
see you
it.
went to a birthday ball game.
So moving on right along, discussing the warrant for November the 15th special town meeting, my understanding is we don't have anything, but if we do
Well,
now.
I put that back on in
Because it
case
was
it
on,
was,
yeah.
because we did discuss it and just to get clarification on whether we put one in or didn't put one in. So we would know as a committee if it was there or not.
it's closed anyway.
I had a feeling it might be. I
Yeah,
remember.
But I didn't know if it was put in,
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
so none was put in, we didn't need one.
We didn't need one.
Okay.
good.
Good. Didn't
So-
need
Isn't
one.
that a first?
And
Many years?
Yeah.
well, we've had some serious problems at the special town meeting. Thanks to some of our financial people and shenanigans. Do they cover shenanigans in your fraud thing? They probably do.
Probably.
So that doesn't go on the agenda next time.
Nope, that's off. That was just, same thing with the ARPA fund
We have to
proposal.
have a shenanigans policy in it.
That's right.
I
It's
left
only
the,
applicable on March the 15th, 17th, what is it?
Well, April first.
April
St.
1st.
Patrick's Day.
you got it. I left the ARPA one on there just so that you weren't at the meeting and to
I
make
wasn't.
sure that we were all, that it was sent in. And that, and then you made a change anyway, because something came in that wasn't on it. So that's all set and ready. It's in.
It's in.
Okay,
It'll now be reviewed by the selectmen, and I believe the finance committee might be reviewing them as well.
Do you know what the schedule is for that? I have to get the word in, but you know. anything?
Schedule.
But, well, first of all, I don't understand that word. And secondly, I do not.
Okay,
So did you say it was reduced by $3,000?
Yeah, I had put in
we had two
items
splits.
that I thought I put it in for two, I only put in for one.
Oh, did
So
you? I
I
didn't notice
backed
that.
out $3,000.
They're up to 3,000, I thought they were two, okay,
They're 28 something.
yeah. Anyway, we do need to do that test that I mentioned to you. I don't want to do that test at the special town meeting,
Right.
but we should wait for them to come in.
The receivers and they're in.
Oh, they're in, are they?
Yeah,
Okay,
They came today.
okay. So sometime that should be done. Okay, moving right along, discussing future studio space. If anyone has any updates, suggestions,
thinking no.
recommendations. I still
What's the
prefer,
status of the building committee?
no idea. I haven't been at it, and because they meet at 6 o'clock and so do we. I can't even be at it. I couldn't be at the last one, the previous one.
It's being recorded and will be on YouTube
Mhm.
tomorrow.
And as far as building committee, is that building committee in the broad sense, or are we talking about TC Passio's building?
They changed the name of the committee from the TC Passios Building Design Committee to the Lunenburg Municipal Building Design Committee.
So it could be any municipal building at this point.
So we leave that one on, please, Steve.
you're gonna leave that one, out. Okay.
The next meeting is 6 o'clock, November the 7th, is my understanding. Unless we would prefer to move it to 5 o'clock, then I would stand a chance of visiting that other meeting, but at the moment it's 6 o'clock. And we're still meeting here. I find it too hot in here, so.
It's warm in here
It's-
today. This is the first time.
It
it's
wasn't,
been
it
warm.
wasn't warm last week.
I think
wasn't
it's
warm last
nice here.
They just
I
turned
like
down
it.
the heat.
I was not serious.
Oh,
No, but it's, they obviously turn the heat on.
Used to England was never warm.
Oh, it is. We've been cold.
Between June 7th and 12th, I think.
It's like Maine, where summer is July the 4th.
right.
So I'll
So,
move to adjourn.
Sorry, on the next meeting.
Oh.
Just so we know, I will be in Canada, all being well. However, I'm hoping that even using Canadian dollars and Canadian internet, I can join the prices up there are ridiculous till you remember it's 2/3,
That's right.
Yes,
you know.
yes.
So hotel room, I thought, it's a lot, and then it wasn't. So I will
Very-
hope to
very
come in.
candy,
And if
isn't
I- Pardon?
We're in Canada, isn't it?
That's a little village called Ottawa.
Little
Beautiful
village.
place.
We've been there before. It's the synod for our church, because
Hmm.
for a strange collection of reasons, we're in the Anglican network in Canada.
Just up the road from the Baseball Hall of Fame.
Mm.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
In Canada? What's that doing in Canada?
So it's up there. You go down the road, you come into America.
So you'll contact Pete if there's an issue
Yes,
so that he's ready,
right.
raring and whatever.
Well, last time Steve ran the meeting because.
Well, because the microphone wasn't working. We were using a PC and the microphone was not good at all.
No.
And I
Oh,
was closest to the computer, so I was the one yelling into the computer so you could hear. That's why I dug this out. Right, Paul? This is working, right?
It's beautiful.
Was that last
It
meeting,
is the
Hank?
best Zoom meeting I've ever attended and listened to, Steve.
Okay.
was this your computer or?
No, it was, she brought the PC
It was
one.
a Pacc computer.
Okay.
Yeah,
And then she vowed never to bring it again.
and I will not.
Isn't that,
Oh,
is
So
that?
we have
a-
all the new
did you-
MacBooks now.
Oh, was it a laptop?
No, I wouldn't put it on because
It
it was
was-
garbled.
It was a.
Yeah, it was
stupid-
horrible.
It was unbelievable, passing this machine back and forth and yelling into.
Was it
Did
a
you use the little
regular
robot
PC or a
there?
laptop?
No,
laptop.
It was
So
just
it
a poor
had a
laptop.
camera
it
microphone.
really had nothing to do.
It didn't have a good microphone or speaker.
It was a small condenser microphone that had a window like this
Oh.
and a distance of about this.
Mm,
You know what I mean? For
did
that.
you Put the bias voltage on
So
Just
you couldn't hear anything,
Yeah, very little.
very
I
little,
could hear you.
because I was like inches away and I used my teacher voice.
it? Anyway, so we are hybrid. I hope to come in.
Okay,
Not my favorite thing to try and run the meeting through a box. But
Well, no.
we'll do the best we can.
Yeah.
And if I have a problem, I'll send you a text.
Can you hear him?
When you ignore it, I'll.
Yeah.
I'll text you.
Yeah, so no, everyone I hear loud and clear.
See, I
Yeah.
couldn't before you used this kind of mic.
Well, it's-
Yeah, and this is the first
Yeah.
time I've come to a meeting remotely, so I believe, I mean, this particular committee, so, yeah, no, it's good. The mic is placed pointed towards you, Steve?
It's
no,
not
it's,
quite.
yes, point towards Steve.
Yeah, but. no,
Actually, the
it's not everyone,
microphone is,
Faith.
one is pointed at Faith and one is pointed between Pete and
Oh.
I. I'll do this so you can see.
Oh, yeah. 'cause
Oh,
it's stereo
So
cross,
what happens, both microphones have, I think, a 60 or a 90-degree, so there's an
Yeah.
overlap in the center. So it's probably
Oh, is that like a Zoom
120 degrees
H1?
complete. It's 120 degrees complete, but
Hmm.
Great.
Not
Is
very
that a
perfect,
fact?
yeah.
Is
No,
that
but
a
so it
mic?
sounds great, sounds very
no,
good.
that's mine.
Oh,
Oh,
oh.
What's
thank
that,
you
a
for-
Zoom you're
No,
using?
not the last meeting.
That is a Zoom product. There's one I like better, but I couldn't upgrade the firmware
Okay,
to get it to run on newer computers.
Yeah.
This one happened to work, so I brought this
sounds
one.
great. No, so
Does
it's
it have a name?
Zoom
Each one.
H1.
H1, yeah,
Wow.
I've got one
I like
myself,
the Zoom
yeah.
4 better, but
Yeah.
as you know.
The question
Anyway.
is, should we buy one, I guess? is the
Yeah.
question.
Yeah, I think so.
I was
Wanna-
in the process.
Well-
We would still need it to try out.
We need to try out the H4, I still think if it works,
Mhm.
is a better one, because what happens on the H4, one side is a 90-degree pair of microphones, the other side is 120 degrees. And you can
Nice.
actually put it in the middle and have both sides operate at the same time, so you can get surround sound.
Mhm.
So in a meeting like this, you would just set it up here in the middle, and it doesn't matter where you're sitting.
Yeah.
It would be like the owl,
I
except
was gonna say.
it just does everything.
Yeah.
I
Whatever,
used to use
Even
those
somebody-
planar mics, the ones that sit flat on the table.
right,
Those were okay, weren't they?
yeah, but we need to have them all connected to Zoom.
Yeah, we only use one of them for a meeting this.
Oh, yeah, we could have, I don't know if it connects to this.
Oh, I have no idea what that's got. for.
So the problem was the H4 wasn't connecting to your software.
Okay.
So I have to update the firmware, I think, to make it so that it recognizes new stuff, because it's like 15, 20 years firmware. They still sell the H4 though, because yeah, anyway, okay, I moved to adjourn.
Second.
Right,
Aye.
right.
That was good.
No discussion. I
No.
guess we'll follow the full, can I actually say Pete or can I say Mr. Lincoln?
Whatever you choose, just don't say schedule.
You
I
can't fit
told
it
you, I
in.
learned that in school. So,
You would like to schedule a roll call now for the adjournment.
That I understand.
I don't, I have no
Aye.
idea what you're talking about.
I,
Steve,
Aye,
Paul,
Aye.
Faith,
Aye.
and as I'm here, aye.
There we go. Meeting
Thank you.
adjourned. Hey, nice to see you, Paul. Glad you're feeling better.
Thank
Bye, Paul.
you, and I'll see you next month. I'll be in touch